Hello and welcome to our Duty of Care Awareness training course. In this module, we will delve into the fundamental concepts of duty of care, exploring its implications in the workplace and its intersection with individual rights. We'll examine the legal aspects surrounding duty of care. So, without further delay, let's dive right in.
So, what is the duty of care? The term duty of care refers to the fiduciary responsibility that corporate directors have to uphold a specific level of care. It is a person's or organization's responsibility to take all reasonable precautions to prevent activities that may cause harm to other people or their property.
When it comes to care, a duty of care is a legal and professional obligation to protect people while they are under your care. A duty of care entails being accountable for your people's health, safety and well-being.
As a health and social care professional, your legal duty of care extends to those you support and yourself, your colleagues, and anybody else present in your workplace. For example, if you work in a nursing home, your duty of care extends to maintenance employees and cleaners, just as it does to service consumers. Duty of care influences policy implementation, particularly in safeguarding and risk assessment processes. Risk assessments help minimize hazards, while clear policies and procedures guide behavior to prevent harm and compliance with legislation, such as health and safety regulations, ensures lawful operation. The duty of care is an implicit responsibility for corporate directors, requiring them to make financially, morally, and legally sound decisions in the best interests of the company. It extends to all individuals associated with an establishment, ensuring protection from physical and emotional harm. Breaching this duty can lead to accountability for negligence, particularly in personal injury cases. So, how to achieve these obligations? Well, these obligations can be achieved by making a clear policy statement on duty of care, training all relevant individuals on the basic issues, keeping the training up to date, keeping up-to-date training records and displaying certification, providing clear communication channels for reporting concerns, recording concerns and all further actions taken, reporting outcomes.
The other major fiduciary duty, in addition to the duty of care, is the duty of loyalty. The duty of loyalty differs from the duty of care in that it aims to prohibit directors from acting against the corporation's best interests or reaping a personal profit that is not available to other shareholders.
This obligation forces corporate directors to put the company's fiduciary interests ahead of their own. It also imposes the responsibility of avoiding potential conflicts of interest, preventing a director from self-dealing or profiting from a company opportunity. If a company director violates their duty of loyalty or their duty of care requirements, they could face hefty fines and reparations. Other roles in the financial industry are also subject to the duty of care. For example, accountants and auditors are obligated to and responsible for their clients' best interests. Manufacturers are held responsible for the safety of the things they create and advertise to consumers. When working with patients, all healthcare providers, whether physicians, nurses, or therapists, are required to maintain a duty of care. Failure to provide the patient with the required level of care might result in accusations of negligence on the part of the healthcare professional. Negligence is defined in the medical field as a failure to exercise reasonable care or make efforts to prevent loss or injury to another person.
Now let's shift our focus to the duty of candour. The duty of candour is a legal obligation in the UK that requires healthcare professionals and organisations to be open and transparent with patients when something goes wrong with their treatment or care.
This means that as a healthcare professional, you must tell the patient, or where appropriate, the patient's advocate, carer or family when something has gone wrong. Apologize to the patient, or where appropriate, the patient's advocate, carer, or family. Offer an appropriate remedy or support to put matters right, if possible. Explain fully to the patient, or where appropriate, the patient's advocate, carer, or family, the short and long-term effects of what has happened. As a healthcare worker, you must also be open and honest with your co-workers, employers, and other relevant organisations, as well as participate in evaluations and investigations when needed. You must also communicate openly and honestly with your regulators, flagging concerns as needed. You must encourage and support one another in being open and honest,